Sports for Griffins TV alongside head football coach Chad Masters. And Coach, congratulations on win number 1 here at Vianney.
Thank you.
Talk about the game, because it seemed like you guys came out and it was kind of bend not break defensively for you.
Yeah, and they presented some very difficult situations for us. I mean, their ability to move from, they have 2 very big physical running backs, and they were pretty physical up front too. But their ability to go from that to an empty set and back to that was, we had some things, and we just weren't executing initially, what we did. We got some of those changes made at halftime, but they put a lot of stress on us defensively. But I think we were doing some really good things. One of the things that kind of hurt us was we allowed them to extend drives with some penalties. And those came at kind of inopportune times for us, very opportune times for them.
Third downs, really.
Yeah, third downs. The first score they had, we held them to a 3 and out, had a nice little series, and then they punted, and we ran to the punter, giving them a first down. And that was this kind of situation we kind of went into through the night, So overall, our discipline's got to, not necessarily discipline as far as team discipline, but just in playing the game, we just got to get better at that area. But that definitely led to some points on the board for him several times and put him in positions to score. But defensively, I thought overall, once we settled down, I thought we really played pretty well. And offensively, I thought we had a pretty good game. Wasn't necessarily the one we thought it was going to be, but definitely we started to score some points and move the ball, and that was really good for us.
Keenan Markham has a great night for you on the ground.
Yeah.
And I'm sure when you guys game planned Wednesday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, that wasn't really how you drew it up, was it?
Well, I wasn't drawing up twice being on our own second, or 2 or 3 yard line, and him breaking off a 50 to 70 yard run. It definitely wasn't the scheme of that. Usually in that situation, you're trying to drive the ball out so you have some room to punt. And he definitely flipped the field there a little bit, but. We knew that he has some dynamic playmaking ability, and we knew that we needed to capitalize off that a little bit and figure out some more ways to get the ball in his hands a little bit. And he just played well. We blocked well up front. We started kind of settling down there and executing fairly well. And he has the ability that if he gets some seams and gets some space, that he's able to get some extra yards. And for being not a big kid, he's got a lot of toughness to him, and he's a physical kid, slightly undersized, but that's fine. It's high school football, we have more undersized than we have, regular size. So, he just had a good night all around. Can we count on that every single night, week in, week out? I don't know. It'd be nice if it was the case, but for the night we had last week, he did a really good job, and Chris Caldwell again continues to get better as a freshman. And he came in and kind of, subbed in for that a little bit and gave us some change of pace and did some really good things there.
And it's almost, it's nice because you said there is that change of pace for you,
Mm-hmm.
because Chris, who doesn't have that big size in the backfield,
Mm-hmm.
does run a power type
Yeah.
game, who runs between the tackles
Yeah.
for you, where Kanan gets outside a little bit.
And he does that very well. Chris is a very confident kid. In a good way, and he knows his skill set, knows his abilities, and he has no problem, being patient, waiting for those things to develop. But you need in a running back in an offense that runs power schemes, gap scheme stuff. So, he's coming along really well. I've been really impressed with it. It's hard to put a lot on a 14-year-old,
Sure.
But he's been doing a lot of good stuff every day. I've been very proud of his development, and he's getting better every week. And a lot of us are. A lot of our kids are. Up front we are. Our receivers are. Griffin played a really good game at quarterback for us. And on the defensive side, I think we're starting to settle in. Our secondary is starting to sort itself out a little bit. And our linebackers are playing at a high level now with Bishop and Henry Bollinger. And Jack Bollinger on the defensive side continues to really play well in the last 2 games. He's probably our best defensive player against Fayetteville. And that was, a tough game for us, but then he came around again and put another great, he's our defensive player of the week off that game. So, did a phenomenal job for us.
Offensively, you have the run game working
Mm-hmm.
well. The pass game maybe not working as well as you like it early on.
Mm-hmm.
Does that come now? Griffin's been in now he's got 2 different offenses
Yes.
over the last couple of years,
Mm-hmm.
and he doesn't get a lot of time to work that offense in that transition. Do you think that's something that is going to gradually come as the season goes along for him? he's a hard worker,
Mm-hmm.
and you know it. A lot of people know his work ethic,
Yeah.
and as well as some of the other receivers as well. But is it all about just timing at this point?
It is. It's timing. It's getting used to things. I mean, especially at the quarterback position, which is so important in the style of offense we want to develop into. A lot of it is stuff that you can only develop while being under fire, so to say. You know, we can't replicate looks in practice the same way and he gets on a Friday night against Althoff Catholic or Hawaii's Catholic. You know, it's just not going to happen.
Sure.
You know, and so a lot of it is he's learning the basics. He's learning all the things that we got. He's working really hard at that, but he's also just got to figure it out a little bit during the games. And it's just timing. It's just timing with him and receivers. I mean, a lot of it's predicated on space on field. And I mean, it's just a different way of doing things. He's going from one offense to another. And to me, looking at it from my standpoint, I think his progression is really good right now.
Okay.
And it's going to continue to get better.
Sure.
Especially if he keeps the same attitude and the same work ethic he has, which I know he will. I think it's just a matter of time before that part starts clicking too. And he knows it, the receivers know it, and I've done this before, it just takes time. It takes, a period of time for it to kind of start clicking. But once it does, it usually works very well. So the run game a lot of times is easier to kind of get solidified a little bit, but that's something we need to try to make the other part of it click too, because we can't become a one-dimensional offense.
Good decisions offensively, no turnovers.
Played pretty clean there.
Pretty clean football, and that's pretty important because at this level of football, high school, we know usually turnovers turn into points, and really did a nice job keeping them, not picking up any of those turnovers.
Right, I think that's a big thing for us. I mean, talk about, again, working on our discipline, to commit fewer penalties and to continue to not turn the ball over and to cause turnovers defensively. And I think that's just, a simple recipe for success in high school football. Limit penalties and limit turnovers and create them. And so for last week it worked. Not on the penalty side of things, but definitely on our offensive turnovers, not having any, and able to turn them over a couple times. So it's still an area we need to improve on and work on because, we were a little loose with the ball a few times, and, that's always a big concern to me. But those are little things that's easy for us to correct, off of film or in practice. A lot of times easier to correct off a win than off a loss, when you're feeling more positive about yourself. But that was definitely a highlight, I think, was that, so I think that definitely is plays in our favor a little bit if we continue that progression moving forward.
You actually get some points out of the kicking game too, which is nice. Talk about Andrew's progression. He picks up a false start.
I haven't seen that one a whole lot. So I said, what happened? I said, our kicker got us a false start. So, oh well.
No, but he also had good distance on the field goal that he made in the first quarter.
Yeah, and anytime you can have a kicker that can put some points on the board, if you stall out in the red zone, we had 3 times we stalled out in the red zone. 2 of them we got points off, 1 we didn't, and that was just hey, we're on the 1, we're gonna take a gamble here and just try to get it in. I mean, I'm not sure that was a good angle for a field goal anyway, being so close in and and on the hash.
Game penalty back up 5 yards.
Yeah, I guess I could have done that, but in effect we did it on the extra point with a false start. But to be able to have that is really good. And not only did he kick well, field goal, and he was perfect on his PATs, 2 for 2 in field goals and 4 for 4 in the PAT, but then he also got a couple touchbacks. And
that's not really seen anymore.
I know, yeah, exactly. I mean, if I can get it in there, we will. You'll see it tomorrow night, but with the Hawaii's kicker, that kid can kick. But so and they punted well for us too.
Yeah.
And so to be able to have that, and not be sporadic there, I think that just helps. I mean, anytime that you're getting points and able to flip a field and play the field position game a little bit and give our defense a little more time to bend a little bit, because the way people play offense these days, I mean, teams are so good offensively, and to be just a shutdown defense is so hard. But the more space we can give them, the better. And I think I was very, very pleased with our special teams in general. And definitely with Andrew's kicking ability in all 3 phases of it. So that was a big step up. And of course, we named him our special teams MVP because of the kicking. And he did a great job with that. So
Helias comes to town.
Yep.
What should we expect from Helias?
Helias is a team that is very well coached, number one, and they're very, very disciplined. They don't make a lot of mistakes, and so they're a team that you have got to make sure that you're playing very disciplined football against and you're executing against. They've got good athletes and they've got very physical football players. So it's going to be a lot like we had last night, but probably better. I mean, not last night, last Friday, but probably a better team and better game. They're going to be tough to handle. And I know last year they beat them down there in Jeff City in a rain game. It was like a torrential monsoon downpour.
Yeah. I didn't make the trip because of the weather.
Yeah, there you go. So, but like I've told them all week, says this isn't last year, and there's another opportunity for us to set the standard of how we want to play and how we want to do things, and that's being a tough football team and being a disciplined football team and be able to execute things and continue to grow in our offense and grow in our defensive schemes and just find ways to put ourselves in a position to win. The game's played in 4 quarters, and I always tell teams that, hey, get the team into the fourth. If you get the team in the fourth quarter, then you make your move. And so for us, we're going to go out there and we're going to try to be those things that we want in our program. And they're going to give us a strong test. I mean, they got a lot of tradition in their program, a lot of pride in their program, similar to what we have, and they're looking to make a name for themselves too. I mean, they're starting off 2-0 and getting a lot of favorite.
They haven't given up any points
yet. Haven't given up any points yet either. Yeah, I mean, that's something we got to do. Obviously, we got to score points to win, but that's gonna be a big test for us. I mean, they're very solid defensively, and their quarterback, the Weaver kid. I mean, that kid can play. I mean, he is probably one of the better kids we've seen so far as a dynamic playmaking ability. So it's gonna be a tough one. But hopefully we come out on top. We've had a good week of practice, and we'll see how things shake out on Don Heat night.
I was going to say, you weren't here, but I'm sure in the time that you've been here, you've heard some things about Coach Heat.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me what some of your thoughts are based on the legendary coach.
Well, and I've peripherally known of him and things. I'm a student of the game, and I always love looking at the history of the game, and I know Coach Heat's right there in the mix with a lot of people, especially in the St. Louis area. I'm honestly just honored that I get the opportunity to coach, at this school, in a program that he basically built, and on a field that's named after him, and on a night that will honor him for his not only his success as a coach, but his impact on a community. And I've always said that's who I aspire to be as a coach. I'd like to win more than I lose. I think we all do. I'd like to have the successes and the win total and the title total and things like that. But I also want to have the impact that he had on the community for a long period of time. And I would love to be able to carry on his tradition here, in Vianney, and do the things and carry on that legacy that he laid that we're all just trying to kind of measure up to a little bit. So it'll be an honor for me to share the field with him that night, but definitely be present while he's there, and to be able to meet people and see people who he had such a profound impact on. So I think it's an awesome thing. I'm really looking forward to being a part of that whole night.
Coach, best of luck.
Thank you very much.
Helias Catholic.
Yep.
And Don Heat night against Helias Catholic. We'll have it all live on Griffin's TV, and best of luck to Coach Masters and his team.